Good morning guys, and welcome back to the S3 and welcome back to another video. It has been a while since I've been out for a drive in this car, so I thought I'd bring you along. So this is going to be a one take video, my usual style, set the GoPro up and just have a little chat and update you on what's been done to the S3 since it was last in a video, because it's been a couple of months. So I think the last video I made was me announcing it was going to be resprayed, which is still scheduled for January, so the car goes in early Jan and I should have it back within a few months, which I know sounds like a very long time in the car YouTuber world, but I'm completely happy with being at the bottom of the fold. The guys are really busy, they have other work they need to prioritize, so that's fine. And I'm in no rush, you know, these things take time, and I would rather it be done right than quickly. So I'm very excited for it to go in. It's going to be sad to not have it, and this will very likely be its last drive of the year and then for quite some time, but yeah, really excited to see how it turns out. Now, along with the respray, there are a number of cosmetic things that will be updated at the same time. So I'm changing the front headlights. I already have the replacement set. It's getting a new aerial, it's getting new trim, and I think that's it on the exterior. The rear lights are still fine, they don't need changing, and both bumpers of course will be sanded back and resprayed, so they'll hopefully come out well. Oh no, there is one other thing. I'm having the windows re-tinted, so these have a slight tint on them and I want them redone. I don't want completely clear windows, and I also don't want dark tint. I just want a slight tint all round, so that's being done as well. And yeah, really excited. However, in the meantime, I have been busy getting on with updating other things, so you probably can't hear much of a change, but the car now has a full Miltek system, and it does sound really good. I went for a resonated catback, and I know a few of you in the comments are going to be like, why on earth would you do that? Well, my logic was I wanted the car to sound a little bit better without sounding louder than it should, because we've all been there, right? You're in a high street, you see a 20-year-old car with this hefty back box on it, and it sounds louder than it should. It sounds louder than the power it has, and I didn't want that. I didn't want this to be one of those cars. So I went for a resonated catback, and it does sound better, and I'm really happy with the sound overall. I'm glad it's not too loud, but I'm glad that it's different enough to notice. But the one thing that is definitely improved is the way the car drives. I noticed it almost immediately. It's so much smoother to drive. Through all the gears, lower down in the revs, it's just nicer to drive now. So I'm really happy that I've done it. And I mean, if we're going off the old map figures that came with this car, it's around 300 brake now on paper with the new exhaust. It's definitely not in reality. I can assure you it is not a 300 brake car. It doesn't feel like a 300 brake car at all. So I do need to have a couple of things looked into as well. I need to figure out, to be honest, I need to get on a dyno first, find out what power it's actually making now, and then work my way backwards, because as you may recall, it has the Carbon Dynamics airbox on it, and I think that needs possibly a bit of work. I think maybe the filter needs changing. I don't know, I haven't properly had a look yet. And there's a few other things as well, like it needs an oil change. But yeah, really happy with how that's turned out. I've given the interior a bit of a clean up as well, and I am contemplating whether or not to have these seats retrimmed. But the thing is, I don't want them retrimmed in say the newer Napa leather that Audi put in their cars. Ideally I want it the same as this, just new, if that makes sense. So if anyone knows of a company that could maybe help with that, please do drop a comment down below. And then I was with the guys and we were talking about the respray and when we could get it in and so on. We were just talking about the car generally in terms of what is my long-term plan for it, because they have started to creep up on Auto Trader, and you know, I'm looking at potentially doubling the money that I've paid for and put into this car so far. But then I thought, well, actually, I never bought this car to resell it. That wasn't the point. The point was to buy it to keep it just as a nice manual car to own, and something that I think is just really cool. So we were talking about the mileage, because this is quite a high mileage car. It's now done 121,000 miles. It's 121,377 to be exact. And we were talking about, well, is the engine and the mileage going to kind of cap the possible value of the car in the future? And I thought, no, well, it doesn't really matter. I don't really want to sell it, so it's all good. But then we were talking about, well, what if the engine gives out? Because although I've got a ton of paperwork for the car in terms of what has been done, remap and so on, it's only going to last so long. It's still just a 1.8 turbo. So then I thought, okay, maybe I should do an engine swap. And that's kind of where my head is at. I'm thinking engine swap. Maybe like a later S3 engine. I don't know if that's possible, but the 2-litre turbo later S3 engine, maybe. Or maybe the 3.2 V6 from the 8P A3. So the 3.2 after. The A3 after with the 3.2 V6, maybe. But then I've done very limited research on this, but what I have read is that the engines are quite heavy, so low down they're a bit gutless. You really have to boot it to actually get any pleasure from that engine, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I wouldn't say that this car is a car that you should be gunning into corners. Although it has the old 4-wheel drive quattro system, it is an earlier iteration of the Hall deck, so it's mostly 4-wheel drive. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe 70% front wheel drive and then possibly more. But then I thought, oh well, if I did get that engine, maybe I could supercharge it, because I've seen that is possible. I've also seen that you can turbo them as well. So a bit torn about what engine I should go for, but that's definitely something that I'm gonna look into, because that would be really cool. And I wouldn't be going for high power figures. I think probably around the 400 brake mark would be good in this car, and then just leave it at that. And I think that would tie it off nicely. And then yeah, just keep it and just have it as not necessarily a daily car, but just something that's cool to own. I know that obviously everybody's car tastes are completely different, but whenever I see another S3 on the road, I'm always like, oh my god, there's another S3. It's just, I don't know, I still get excited by seeing them. And I still think buying this car is one of the best decisions I've made over the past few years, because it's been a great distraction. Mentally, it's been a great distraction, and I know you shouldn't necessarily distract yourself, but it's been great to have something to focus on. But also, I just love driving it. I love driving it. And I'm not lying when I say that a lot of the time, if I'm just going out for a drive like I am now, I would usually think about grabbing the keys for this over my RS3, which is crazy when you think about all of the comforts that the RS3 has. But there's just something about this, you know. I've said it before, but it's an old car. It smells old. It rattles like an old car. But it's still just such a cool car to drive. So let me know what you think I should do engine-wise. I'd be interested to know. And also, if you have done it before, please do comment below. It would be good to have a chat, just to learn a bit more about the process and what to consider and so on. Oh damn, that's bright. So other updates. It's been a bit of a crazy month, if I'm being honest, and part of the reason why I've been very quiet both on Instagram and why I haven't posted a video, and I know some of you will be thinking, no, you just take this long always, but there is a reason this time. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but I just thought that maybe I should share it with you. Do you know what, actually, I'm going to pull over, I'm going to get my other camera out, and I'm going to explain.